guys, good afternoon. My name is GlenNeta Griffin. I'm going to be your host this afternoon. Welcome to Back to Basics, the key essentials you need to start and grow your business. This panel is powered by the Georgia Micro Enterprise Network. We are excited to speak with you this afternoon and to add some expertise to your business and to give you guys some tips to help you grow your business. That is what we're here for. I am so excited about this panel, guys. Okay, so we have some amazing consultants and entrepreneurs, and they have gone through the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything else with business. And we're here to share all of that with you. So we do have a chat room. If you have a specific question or if it's for a specific panelist, please drop it in the chat box, or you can use the Q&A. And we're going to also open up for questions in the end. So we have a lineup for you and then questions in the end. But let's do some introductions. Sir, first we have Sonya Toomer-Bates. She is the Executive Project Director for the Georgia Micro Enterprise Network. Welcome, Sonya. If you would give us a quick little introduction about yourself and your programs and everything that you would love for everybody to know about you. Welcome to the panel today.
Hi, so glad to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. I am the director of, various projects for Georgia Micro Enterprise Network. As GlenNeta has said, we're located in Atlanta, and our initiatives are to assist small businesses in underserved communities. We help to close gaps and create economic stability, assisting them to scale and grow. We have programs that are helping around marketing, strong digital footprint, accounting, legal, just to name a few of those. And our main focus that we try to do across these initiatives is to ensure that we're providing resources and technical assistance to real tangible solutions for our entrepreneurs. So I'm just glad to be here and to serve in any capacity that I can.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Sonya. So we're going to move on to Shakirah DeMesier. I'm messing it up again.
DeMesier.
I'm going to get that name, and it's so beautiful, and so are you. Thank you, Shakirah, for being here. Go ahead and give us an introduction.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, GlenNeta. My name is Shakirah DeMesier. I work with the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs as the Technical Assistance Manager. My area of expertise, whoa, I had too much coffee this morning. My area of expertise is in marketing planning and marketing strategy. My experience comes from corporate. So for over a decade, I've worked with Carol's Daughter, which is a beauty brand in their marketing and sales department, as well as Birchbox, which is a monthly subscription beauty service. And so I work day to day with small businesses implementing marketing plans and strategies. I'm so happy to be here and so happy to meet you all.
Awesome. And we're so glad to have you. Next, we have Avoilan Bingham. Avoilan, if you would jump on and tell us a little bit about yourself and who you represent today.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Avoilan Bingham, CEO of the Bingham Agency. We're a digital agency that provides resources for small businesses. We've partnered with the Georgia Micro Enterprise Network to assist small businesses throughout the state of Georgia. So super excited to be on the call today to learn a lot, not only from the panelists, but also from you who are there watching and asking questions on how we can assist. So excited to connect with everybody here and learn a lot, and also to share any expertise that I can.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And next we have Qshebra Taylor. If you would log on for us and tell us a little bit about yourself and who you're representing today.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Qshebra Taylor. I am the lead visionary of All Visions Enterprise LLC. I also work with the Allen Entrepreneurial Institute along with the New Black Wall Street Market. My area of expertise is foundation motivation. I work with a lot of different entrepreneurs who are interested in starting a business, and also those who have been in business for a while and got off track. So I help individuals to refocus, and I help them get back on that journey so they can continue on and making sure that they know exactly what their mission and vision, and of course their why.
Awesome. And you started a whole conversation when you said get off track. I think we've all gotten off track and had to get back on that track. And that's why we're going to be doing this today. So we're definitely going to be tapping into you. Natalie Williams, we're so happy to have you here. Go ahead and log on and tell us a little bit about yourself and who you're representing today.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much, GlenNeta, for the invitation. My name is Natalie Williams, and I am the CEO of NAW4 Integrated Business Solutions, LLC, where I provide leadership, business development, nonprofit strategy for small minority businesses. I also provide back office support and solutions for those BDOs, business development organizations, or EDOs, whichever you want to choose, economic development organizations that are supporting our community of small business owners through technical assistance. And I am so glad to be here. I'm glad to be aligned with Gman, and I thank Sonya Toomer-Bates for the invitation, as well as Angela Walton, who also works with the NAVGA program. So I think this organization is doing a phenomenal job of reaching out and touching the small business community.
Awesome. Thank you. And we're so glad to have you. All right, guys, let's jump in. I know everyone's on their lunch break. You guys that are listening, keep eating, enjoy your lunch, and we hope that you can grab some notes on the side. Okay. So we're going to jump into our first question. And these are also questions that people submitted to us, or these are questions that came from our clients. Okay. So what business development needs do I have to have for my business? Business development needs that I have to have for my business. Who wants to go first?
Well,
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, Natalie, please.
No, go right ahead.
Go ahead. We'll go with Shakirah and then Natalie. There you go.
Yeah, so there are a couple things that I think when starting out a business needs, one of which is an accountant, a bookkeeper, which are two different things, and some kind of legal counsel. Getting into business, knowing what kind of entity to start, what structure works for you. Sometimes it's an LLC, sometimes it's not an LLC that works best for your business. So those two things, I think, when you are thinking about starting a business or starting to develop your business, those are people I think you really need on your team.
Awesome. Natalie, and then Avoilan will come over to you.
Sure. So I'll come back behind her, and I call it my BLIFER. Your banker, your lawyer, your accountant, your insurance, your financial advisor, and your HR specialist are individuals that you need to make sure that you have in your back pocket. The other thing that you want to make sure that you have are resource individuals that are within the community, such as a GMEN, right? You want to make sure that those individuals that you're connecting with have those different levels of training, such as you're getting here now, right? So that they can help and support you with your growth and your development. The other thing is you want to make sure in your business development that you have gotten all your paperwork done. If you're looking to become certified, especially as a minority-owned business, make sure that you're looking at those particular channels so that you can fill those pipelines according to whatever those RFPs may be. So developing your business, there are a couple of things, and also have a business plan or a business model canvas to get you started and off the road.
Yeah, we're going to dig into that business plan and the components. So hold on to that one, Natalie. Avoilan, What about you? What are the business development needs that you feel you absolutely have to have?
Yeah, I would just piggyback off of what Shakirah and Natalie just said. I think really understanding your business and understanding, how you plan to go to market. I think sometimes, with a lot of small businesses, there's uncertainty on, what need does my business serve, right? And so understanding this is the marketplace that I want to, serve. These are the type of customers that I'm looking for. I think it's critical as a small business that you really understand who your customer is. That's going to dictate the type of product you build for them. That's going to dictate, again, how you go to market, how you're going to market, so then I'm really understanding that customer segment. So it's important that you understand, one, who your customers are, but two, really having a clear strategy of how you plan to go to market and what needs you can fill in the marketplace.
Absolutely. And so we're talking about the needs that you need right now as you grow. Mm-hmm. Is that what we're talking about, Avoilan? Like the needs?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm asking that question simply because off of Natalie's response, I heard her say lawyers and HR specialists. And let's keep it real. When we first start businesses, a lot of people can't afford that. Like a lot of people are scared to death and are like, you know what? I'm barely in business. I'm trying to afford lunch and I can't afford a lawyer. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
For the people that are out there and they're struggling and they're like, I can't even afford a lawyer. So we want to make sure we reach those people too, to help them establish the basics too. I mean, because we have different levels. So
absolutely.
I think that's key that you're definitely, Sonya, come on in. you're definitely, we're at a point talking about where you are now in your business, where you are.
The other part about, oh, go ahead, Sonya. I was going to say the other part about those needs, I think that he was speaking about is the need when you're developing your customer segmentation and you're trying to figure out what your product is and how you get it to the market. It really is the need that you're meeting in that market, right? So what is your solution? What are you solving for? That's the other need that we're also referring to.
Love it. Sonya, what about you? Because you're like, you're like, put me in, coach.
I agree, because when we work with entrepreneurs, where it's a lot of like what you said, GlenNeta, they're just not in a space to have these pieces, though they're important and they have to happen. So knowing what those are things to work towards. And that's why GMEN is in place as well, because we're help with that process. We're making sure that we get those things available to them through our technical assistance. So those that may not have the funding to do, we're looking to work with those entrepreneurs because we know those gaps that need to be closed. And a part of this TA team is the strength behind that.
Awesome. And Sonya, when you get a chance, could you drop the GMEN website or the link for your program in the chat room? Because if we have any new businesses on here, we want to make sure that they tap into that. Qshebra, we want to hear from you. What are the business development needs that you absolutely have to have? Are you there? Can you hear me? Qshebra, are you there?
I think she's frozen.
Okay, we'll come back to her. We'll definitely come back to her and let her plug back in when she jumps back in if she wants to weigh in on that.
Well, honestly, being a vision coach and a strategist, one of the things that I have found working with entrepreneurs is.
Yeah, I think we lost her.
Yeah.
No worries, y'all. Listen, we are in a time of, with the digital era, we are online, we're doing the best we can. So when she jumps back in, because she's so amazing, we're going to let her plug that back in. So let's just keep the conversation moving. Let's talk about that business plan. Why do I need a business plan for my business and what should it include? So if you want to start back with Shakirah, maybe?
Sure. So to start a business, you don't technically need a business plan.
Okay.
It's controversial. You don't need one to start.
It's very controversial because if you see and hear people go, you have to have a business plan.
You don't. You can start your business when you have your business license. If you're in Atlanta, let me start right there. If you're in Atlanta, get a business license. Go ahead and get your business license. Check to see if you're not in Atlanta, see what your city and county requires of you as far as licensing is required. But if you are in Atlanta, you need a business license. But yes, you don't need a business plan to start a business. You should have one. Mm-hmm. It's a good to have. It operates as a roadmap. If you're looking for traditional lending, they'll likely also ask you for some type of plan. Mm-hmm. It gives you an understanding of what your business actually is, how it makes money, who your customers are, where you should perhaps consider selling if it's, a brick and mortar store location. It provides you of a map, of a roadmap. So should you have one and build one and take time with your business? I think absolutely. Mm-hmm. Do you need one to start? Is it required to start a business? It's unfortunately not.
I'm really glad you said that, because that means if you don't have one, don't let that stop you from starting your business. And I think that's what a lot of people, it may frighten them. And they're like, I don't have a plan. I don't even know how to put one together. So then they're scared. They're like, okay, well, I'm not going to start the business till I get one. Qshebra, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get you to weigh in. So let me tell you what happened really quickly. We were talking about the development needs, if you wanted to weigh in on that, but then we jumped into a business plan. Do you have to have one? If so, why? And what's included in one? So wherever you want to jump in is fine.
Well, I do actually agree that you don't have to have a business plan. However, being a vision coach and strategist, you have to have a vision. Most people start and they do not have a vision. They do not have a mission. Your vision is what success looks like for your company. It also is what your company aspires to be in the future. When you think about the mission, it's the reason why your company exists. And see, a lot of times it's almost, I tell my clients that mission is like your vehicle. It's what's going to take you to the different places, and you're telling your clients and those who you're serving how you're going to get there and the different things you're going to do. And so a lot of people jump straight into business and we don't have a vision. We do not, and we have not envisioned anything. And so that is very, very imperative that you have a vision first, even before even thinking about where you're going to be, a brick and mortar, whatever it is. And also mission. When you think, because one of the things that 3 areas I deal with, as for one of them is your ID. So ID is the identity. What is the identity of your business? That's like your baby's name. When you go and you get your ID, they're asking for birth certificate. They're asking for all these different things to even give you an ID to say that you are who you are, even though you know that you are who you are. And so a lot of business owners, we don't even have an ID. So our baby doesn't have a name. And so a lot of times we say, hey, I just have an idea. Tell me what that idea is. Tell me, because most of the time our ideas could actually be something that we just sitting on the couch, just drinking a cup of coffee, just thinking about something. But when it turns into vision is when you have a plan. So even when it comes to even jumping to the business plan or business development, you have to have what I call some type of foundation motivation. And that's dealing with your vision, your mission, and also your values of your company, what that looks like before either. I mean, all of us, we have and we operate in different areas of expertise, but that foundation motivation is going to help us assist you in the areas and also give you those instructions and directions based on what's next.
Awesome. That is amazing. Can you drop that when you get a chance in the chat box for our audience? I love that. So good. Let's go to Avoilan. And then we'll come to Sonya.
Yeah, I love what you said, Qshebra, especially around like the mission and your values being just a critical part of your business. It's important to understand who you are to know where you're going. And I think with a lot of small businesses, if that piece is missing, you'll see it show up in other parts of how you do business. So it's important to understand that and have the right culture in place to start with. As far going back to the business plan conversation, I do think it's a little controversial. I would say, kind of to agree with everybody, I don't think you necessarily need one. You should have one, but just remember, as your business grows, your business plan is going to grow too. So you shouldn't feel like you need a 10-page, PDF with all the projections in the world and everything broken out. It should grow as your business grows. So really think about it as an evolving, living document, and that business plan will continue to grow, as you go forward. But really going back to Qshebra's point about the vision, what services and where you feel like you can fill a need in the market. And really who you are, what your business is about. I think just being clear about where you're at in your business process will allow you to continue to grow your business. And as you grow, your business plan will grow as well.
Awesome. Sonya, jump in there. And also, if with your program, if that is a service for business plans that you offer, tell us about that as well.
Yes, and again, not to repeat or belabor the point, but Qshebra, it was very true around what we find as we work with hundreds of entrepreneurs for the 15 plus years with Gman. That has been a challenge. They get their pieces of paperwork together and they get their license, but they don't have that active, what you said, Avoilan, live blueprint. They don't have anything that they can take and give those objective decision makings and pivoting when they need to and adjusting because they don't have that vision and making it plain and clear. And I think that's very vital for entrepreneur success, to have a well thought out plan of where they're going and the different steps of how to get there. And they can adjust it as they go. But I think it's important to have that vision written.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Natalie, did you weigh in on the business plan?
I didn't. So I agree that it's not necessarily required to have one for the business, but it is definitely, like everybody said, I love everything everyone said. It is part of your growth. It is a living, moving, breathing document. One of the tools that I always suggest people utilize if they're not ready to start the business plan is do a business model canvas. The business model canvas helps you to put your thoughts on the paper, right? Because sometimes, as Qshebra said, you don't have that vision and you don't have it really clear. So sometimes you need some tools to help you to do that. And a business model canvas is one of those particular tools that would help you to understand what your vision is and how it looks. So you you had asked, what are the components of a business plan? So the components of a business plan will consist of your executive summary. It'll also consist of your products, your services, your financial management. It's going to talk about your growth plan, right? The business model canvas is going to be a little different. It's going to talk about who are your resource partners, right? How are you getting this work out? How are you going to get this information out to your customers? So it talks about the channel. How do you get it out there? Is it going to be social media? How are you delivering it? It also talks about your customer segmentation. The biggest thing about the business model canvas that I really love is the value proposition. So this thing, that is the heart of why you do what you do. What is the return on the investment, right? So if you're looking to do business with a corporation or someone that nature, you have to have a return on investment. Why would people buy from you? You have to ask yourself, why would people buy from you? There's tons of products out there. The other components of the business model canvas is your cost analysis as well as your revenue. So it's really your model of how your business is going to be structured. What are the resources and the activities that you're going to use and do within the business to get your business off the ground?
Awesome, awesome. And let me just say this, if you guys that are listening have any questions about business plans and marketing plans as well, all of these consultants can be reached, and they have programs and classes and workshops that are going on in the GMEN community. So don't forget to join, go to gmen.org, join the GMEN community, and we post all of the events there. So I know Natalie has ongoing workshops right now. The Russell Center has amazing workshops going on. Sonya has a bunch coming up. Everyone. So if you want to join the GMEN community, please go to gmen.org, and then we can get you on there. So let's go on. This is a question that several people ask. Why won't the banks give my small business a loan to grow my business? What do you guys think? Like when you're working with your clients, because I know the money question always comes up. So when your client asks you, they're like, I can't get funding. What do you say they're not, that's keeping them back? So Shakirah, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think what we sometimes forget is that giving a loan is a risk for the bank. So if you don't have a proven history of selling items or making a profit, it's really difficult for them to say, I'll give you this money with the intention of paying you back, because you haven't proven that you can pay them back. Loans are not grants, you have to pay them back. And I think a lot of folks go into business thinking, I need money, I need lending. And oftentimes you don't, you really just need to sell your product or sell your service. So do that first. Start selling your product, sell your service before you need money, because it's typically not what you need first. And as a bank, as anyone giving you anything, giving you any money, I personally wouldn't give anyone money that I don't know that they would pay me back. So there's got to be some kind of proven history of selling your product or service and making a profit.
So basically you're saying build a proven track record.
Build
So start working your business.
That's right.
Okay, there we go.
Business.
I love it. I love it. What about you, Qshebra? What about you?
Well, honestly, when it comes to the lending, this is not my area. However, because I do prepare the individuals, it's just basically going back. And one of the things that I did notice in working with a few clients is the paperwork. And then a lot of times we say that our idea is awesome. We may think it's almost like you share. When I look at vision, I look at it as your baby. And we're like, hey, my baby is, everybody is not going to agree with what it is that you agree with. Not saying that it's something wrong with it. However, you are taking a chance for someone, like Shakirah said, to invest in what it is that you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so your paperwork actually matters. The track record, it does matter. Yeah. What you actually feel, all of those different things, they do matter, because they want to find out and figure out if what you're saying is true now, and based on what they're going to invest in, is going to matter later on, where it makes them look good.
Yeah, and to make sure you're not going to be doing a totally different business next week. 'Cause
Right.
we know a lot, we know a lot of new business owners, they jump around until something kicks off, right? So they're like, okay, you might be selling water next week. I mean, I don't know. So,
Exactly.
let's see who else wants to jump in. Like, have you had? Okay, come on, Avoilan.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it real on this one real quick.
Yeah,
I,
seriously.
I think one, personal finance, I think, is also a big part of this too. If you have bad credit or you're in a position where your credit is not in the best place, that can be a factor, especially if you're opening a new business, you have no history of having done business. It's critical that you have your personal, finances in place as well. So I'd say in addition to that, it's just important that, you really think critically about that part as far as the personal aspect. And then two, just being really clear about what you need resources for business wise. I think a lot of times I've seen small business owners who they're asking for a lot of stuff, a lot of money financially, with regard to their loan requests, and it's not needed. I see people who are asking for a lot of money for marketing or money for staff. You don't need that if you're starting your business necessarily. So being really critical about how much you're asking for, but asking for the right things, and your personal finances being in order are really important when you're thinking about a loan.
That's good. Go ahead, Sonya.
Yeah, and in working with the entrepreneurs, what we found out over and over again, they may have all those things in place, but they're, like they said, the documentation, their accounting and their books really hindered them from getting that loan. In working with them, we found that that's a gap that we had to put in place as one of our first priorities when we work with the entrepreneurs. We do have an accounting team, a TA team that works with them to ensure their books are aligned. It's just something that we found is across consistently with our entrepreneurs. We want to help them with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was a big issue when the pandemic first hit as well. And I've said this before, a lot of people couldn't get the funding that they needed to grow their business or stay in business because their paperwork wasn't in order. So I think that's, if you need help with that, that's something you should definitely be reaching out to get assistance with. So let's go back. This is another basic that I think that a lot of people are struggling with. Tax IDs. Let's talk about tax IDs and business credit. Does anyone have any expertise in that they could share? Do you have to have a tax ID for your business, and will it help you build business credit? Which one of you, or if any of you, could jump in on that?
I mean, the only thing I can say, it's important that you have your EIN. If you're doing business in particular states, they are going to require that you have, especially here in Georgia, that you have a Georgia tax ID. So I would definitely recommend that. As we were just talking about with the paperwork piece, you can't get certain loans or even apply for certain grants if you don't have that in place. Your business just won't even be considered. So those are some of the things we talked about: the LLC formation, your EIN, your state ID. Those are things that should be some of the first things you knock off of your list. Those are things that you can do. They're pretty inexpensive. If they don't even have, a lot of them don't even have a fee. And it takes only a couple of days, if that, to process. So those are some things that you should get done immediately. But as far as getting your EIN and your Georgia tax ID, it's something I would definitely recommend you do if you haven't done it already.
Awesome. Anybody else want to weigh in?
Yeah, I would say you'll need a tax ID in order to get a business bank account. You can't get one without it. And as far as building credit and lending in general, lines of credit are also available to those with tax IDs. So to be in business, you should have one.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Everybody else good on that one? Let's talk about networking, y'all. You got to network your business. So do you have to join a chamber? Do you have to join networking groups in order to grow your business? Natalie, you threw that mic on. Go ahead. I'm listening.
This is such a powerful group. A lot of the things that everyone is saying, all you can do is just nod your head to the resources and the knowledge that is in this room. But yes, networking is extremely important when you're developing this business, and it depends on where you're going. I always tell people, they're saying, oh, I'm going to this place and that place, but you have to have a strategy around your networking, right? You should not show up everywhere because your customer may not be there. So before you're going somewhere, make sure you write down where you're going, who's going to be there. Be clear on who's going to be in the room, because every time you walk out of the door, you're spending money. You cost money. And so you have to remember that when you step out that door, money is coming out of your hands. And so if you're going to functions and events and your target market is not there, then you're kind of like putting yourself at jeopardy. So be strategic about where you go, how you show up when you get there. The other thing about networking, the chambers you said, right? This organization is similar to a chamber, but those organizations will help position you to reach other individuals, like certain certifying entities. So you may have the We Bank, or you may have CVMSDC, or the greater, I think it's the Georgia Minority Supply Development Council. Understand why you're networking. People do business with people they know, like, and they trust.
Yes.
They know, like, and trust. So when you're showing up in a format that is consistent, people will begin to trust you and start to build those relationships. And then you become the forefront of their mind. So when you're building these relationships, understand why you're building their relationships and who you're building those relationships with. It could be key individuals inside of organizations. We talked a little bit about this yesterday at one of my sessions, right? It could be an ERG group because you want to get in and you want to maybe have an influence on the supply diversity department. So understand who you're targeting and why you're targeting and what the need is of your product and your business.
Awesome. Good stuff. Anybody else want to weigh in on networking? Avoilan, go ahead.
Yeah, this is, man, I love networking. I love everything Natalie just said. Yeah, you got to get out there. I know obviously we've had COVID and, other health scares that have really kind of dampened people's enthusiasm for being around each other. But I think we're in a place now where people feel a lot more comfortable going back outside and really, to Natalie's point, the strategy is important. I made the mistake when I first started my business. I was at every event, right? I wanted everybody to see me. I wanted to talk to everybody. But as I started kind of understanding who my clients and customer base was, I started really kind of narrowing that focus to the right types of events. And the more active you are, you'll start connecting with people who are going to the events that you really need to find yourself a part of. So the networking piece, I can't understate how important that is, or overstate how important that is. It's just such a critical part, especially here in Atlanta, where there's events happening all the time. Ways for you to connect with, different business leaders. You have GMEN, you've got the Russell Center. You have the, Invest Atlanta, you got the Metro Chamber. There's so many different organizations and bodies of business that are encouraging and seeking ways to connect people. So I would certainly make that a big part of what you do. And it's the only way, the more you're able to build that relationship network, like they say, your network is your net worth, right? So the more you're able to invest in that, the more opportunities you have for business.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, none of those organizations work unless you do. So you can't go and sit in a corner and think that you're going to be a success. You have to actually work the room and grab some business cards and make some connections and find ways to collaborate and partner and all that great stuff too. Did anybody else want to weigh in on that? So we're at the half-hour mark. Let's take some audience questions. Ms. Reynolds wants to know, what is the difference between the EIN and the Georgia tax ID?
Yeah, the EIN is federal. So it's a different set of numbers. And the Georgia tax obviously is at the state level.
Okay, so we got that. I hope that answered your question. Let's talk about mentoring. How do you find a business mentor? Who wants to jump in with that one first? You're already on, Avoilan. Go for it.
Yeah. How do you find a mentor? That's a great question. I think part of it goes back to networking, right? Being in rooms, connecting with people, understanding what people do. I think it's also being clear in what you need a mentor for. There are executive business coaches, there are advisors, being really clear about what you need for your own development, because it's important to make sure that you, as your business is growing, you're growing as an executive and as a leader of your organization as well. So investing that time back into yourself is important. But as far as how you go about them, finding them, go to gmen.org. I think that's one place you could start, and then all of our organizations, everybody on this call, I think would be a great place to start.
Awesome. Has anyone else had a unique experience on finding a business mentor? And go ahead, Natalie.
I just wanted to weigh in real quick because that was a great tool. But so the networking through your chambers, through your other trade organizations, because as a business owner, you may start getting associated with different trade organizations, different women organizations, or whatever that may be. So they may be people that you see. But Qshebra said something earlier today, and she talked about the three things that you needed. And one of them was a value. right? You have to understand that what your value is and the person that you're looking for, that they are aligned. You don't want to make sure, you want to make sure you're not connecting with someone that does not have the same value system, values and beliefs that you do. And I always talk about that even when you're talking about people want to be partners in a business. Oh, I want to be partnered with my sorrow. I want to be partnered with my girlfriend down the street, or whatever the case may be. That value system dictates that culture that Avoilan is talking about, right? So in creating the mentors, make sure when you are looking for a mentor, whether it's through a chamber, whether it's through GMEN, whatever that look is, that their value system lines up with your value system.
That's good. That's really good. Anybody else want to weigh in? Go ahead, Sonya, and then Shakirah.
She's absolutely right. And as we said with GMEN, we partner with the micro mentors, and they are designed to align you just like that with your industry, making sure you have the same things in common, and at what level you might need a mentorship for, to add that value to your business. So that's something we can assist with, and assigning and getting people set up with mentors.
Awesome. Shakirah?
Yeah, and I'd also like to add, it's trial and error as well. So if you get matched up with a mentor that maybe you didn't necessarily vibe with, then you can absolutely find another. There are plenty of organizations out, especially in the state of Georgia, that you'd be able to connect with, and going to your Chamber of Commerce is one way to find those resources to do so. But just like therapists or any other kind of doctor, if they don't work for you, then they don't work for you, and you find someone else. Another great way is to go to the businesses that you admire in the industry that you're in. Ask if they'll be willing to talk with you. And maybe it's not on a mentor level, but you definitely get some good insight by doing that.
Absolutely. Avoilan, did you have something else you wanted to add to that?
I think everybody's pretty much, been on point with their assessment. Again, I just think, with the mentorship piece, just really being, very intentional about who you're looking for and why you're looking for them. And, and just building a relationship. There's so many opportunities to build mentorships and advisements with, your business, just being really intentional about who you're looking for, so that it aligns, like Natalie was talking about, it aligns with you and with the culture of your business.
Yeah. And I just want to say something. I think, and you guys can weigh in on this if you like. I think that a lot of businesses have trouble finding mentorships or mentors because we don't ask for help. We do not say, I need help. We walk around and we pretend we got it all figured out. And the truth is that nobody has everything all figured out. We don't ask for help. So I think if, even as a business owner or just a person in general, if we learn how to say, I need help, we will find more people that will actually help us. Or we will be, go ahead, Qshebra.
And I can actually share from a personal stance when it comes to this. One of the ways that I was able, honestly, I really wasn't looking for a mentor. I've always had people that wanted to mentor me based on certain areas that they saw. And so in those different times of evolving, then they realized, I'm not sure if I can handle her. And so I would actually laugh, because I realized, like Natalie said, my values didn't line up with what it is that they do, but I was okay with that because I did understand my purpose. However, I coach, I'm a consultant, and I'm also a counselor. I myself, I started from a personal, and of course I have a therapist. I realized from my own personal life, before I even went into business, I identified. So I was one to say, hey, listen, this is a lot. I need some help. Mm-hmm. Even when it came to visions and different things that I realized in my personal life, my passion, my purpose, hey, I need some help with this. This is a lot. So when I raised my hand and I received help, I got me a therapist from a personal level first, right? So my personal therapist became my business therapist. Okay. So then when I had a business consultant who actually helps when it comes to my personal credit, but also helps me with my business credit. So these are individuals who I have been watching and supporting from afar, and I've actually seen the different seeds that they've actually planted, and I've seen results. And they actually line up not just where I am, but also where I'm going. When it comes to a counselor, As I pour out, I have to have someone who's able to pour back into me as well. And so I was able to start from a personal place first before I jumped into business, because that's what I do when it comes to the business side for me. I don't just help individuals when it comes to the business side, because we know when life happens and we have to relaunch, reset, reevaluate, do all these things over again, most of the time it's because something happened in the personal. Not always in the business, it's always something in the personal. So I make sure when I'm working with the individuals, we look at those particular areas, like you said earlier, GlenNeta, so we don't start a business this week and then we get out of those emotions, then we selling clothes the next week, then we go past that, then we're selling water the next week. We're not sure what that foundation motivation is and where it actually comes from. So the way I was able to identify a mentor for me, because I didn't want to be everything to everybody else and nothing to myself. I identified those areas based on what my vision was, not just for business, but my vision in my personal life, my vision when it came to family, my vision in other areas. That way, those areas are identified, that foundation is solid. Everything else, the doors automatically open, and I was able to identify those individuals because, for one, I had an ID myself.
Oh, that is so good. I feel like this is a whole nother session over here. Go ahead,
That's
Sonya.
that's a whole nother
That's a whole nother panel.
thing. But she's absolutely right. And we found that the barrier came from not dealing with that, not lining that up with the identity piece. And they had funding and training and all kinds of things available, but they couldn't move forward without addressing it. So you are dead on. Boom, boom, boom.
Yes. Anybody else want to weigh in on that? Needing help or any experiences with mentors?
Sure, absolutely. But she is so dead on with that, because that interpersonal value of who you are, just understanding who you are. When we meet with a lot of small businesses, we stay in that value proposition and also in that mindset. Having that mindset to grow and having that mindset to get away and remove the old narrative, because that old narrative is going to creep up. And I tell small businesses that all the time, because I have a coach. Even now, as a coach, I have a coach, right? And so having somebody that you hold you accountable is another thing that we can also do and share with other small businesses, because oftentimes they come to us and think that we know everything. So I already start my conversation out. Number one, I don't know everything. But what I do know, I'm going to give you. What I don't know, I'm going to use as a referral. So we remove those things about people being so high up or, untouchable or intangible. I don't operate like that. And so I make it so people can understand that this is a relationship that we're building. We're working through this journey together, but I want them to have a place where they can break down those walls that were holding them up from other counseling sessions that they have had in the past. And they're getting in there and they're thinking they have to perform a certain way or have a certain answer, and they have to have all the answers. That's why we're here. We're here to walk this with you. We don't have all the answers, but it is so important for small business owners to really identify who you are, and more importantly, whose you are, and how you came into this world on purpose, and that your purpose, no matter what it is, it shall be fulfilled. It shall be fulfilled, whether it's now or later, it will be fulfilled.
So good. This is so good. Listen, so I just want to tell you guys, this panel today came out of a conversation with Avoilan. He was like, I feel like some of my clients need to go back to basics. So now I hear therapy sessions for entrepreneurs. So we need to put something together and help with some therapy, because seriously, because if you're not whole, with your personal, your business is going to be a mess. It really, really is. And it kind of segues into this next question. How do you position yourself for partnerships? And I say position yourself because if you don't have it all together, you're not going to be a good partner to someone else. And we all know if we work together, we can grow together, we can tap into other people's networks and things like that. So working and, being in partnership with other people will help grow our business. But how do you position yourself to become a partner or for partnerships? Go ahead, Avoilan.
Yeah, I think And first off, ladies, man, y'all made it very very powerful in here. Thank y'all for sharing, Qshebra and Natalie. That
And
was
thank
awesome
you
what
for
y'all
holding
said.
it down for the men. We'll get more men next time, but I think you're
I-
enough, Avoilan. I think
No,
you're
no,
enough.
no, I appreciate it. I just wanted to shout them out. That was man, that was really good. But I think it's just really important, you know, for one, you to understand your value proposition, who you are, and your business, because you're not going to be able to be a really good partner if you don't really truly understand what you're doing in business and how you could assist someone else. So I think going back to what we talked about a little bit earlier, as far as understanding your business, you know, how you're different and what you're bringing to the table is what is going to allow you to open the doors up for partnerships. So it's really critical that you have that understanding. And then when you're building and working with others, understanding what they bring to the table and how you can complement each other. Is this a competitor? Is this somebody that I could potentially work with? How we could both be successful. So really being very clear, really thinking that out. And then, you know, reaching out and making an offer like, hey, this is what I think we could do together. Let's have a call. Let's have coffee. Let's talk about it. Let's really think this thing through. I think that's how you're able to determine whether you can have value with the partnership or not.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to weigh in? Go ahead, Shakirah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that brings us back to our business plan and business planning is what is the strategy here? What would you like this partnership to be, and what would you like it to look like, and where would you like to go with it? And is this a beneficial partnership to both parties, and making sure that other party is also satisfied with the relationship as well? So I don't think it takes much. I think it's really just understanding where you want to be and the strategy you want to use to get there. And that's it as far as like preparation, is really understanding what you want, which I find to be, sounds easy, but in my conversations with businesses, that's one of the first questions I ask is what do you want now? What do you want in 3 years? What do you want in 5 years? What do you foresee? And that conversation takes a lot of pause. So if we spent a lot more time thinking about what it is that we truly want, I think that would be beneficial.
Awesome. Awesome. Anybody else want to weigh in on partnerships? Go ahead, Natalie.
You know, I'm going to weigh in on this one because this is where I'll talk about a lot with people with having partnerships. And one of the things is, of course, a partnership could come in different forms. It could be a joint venture, or it could just be something, and that's a joint venture over a specific project. Maybe it's a contract that, you know, a government contract, and you want to do a joint venture. My recommendation always is any partnership is make sure you have the right proper and paperwork in place. A partnership agreement is a must. Doesn't matter who it is. It's just, to me, it's a must. There's a lot of intellectual property that's at risk. If the partnership does not work, you don't want to have to be in a position where you are left and you don't know what's going on, because the objective of this business was to create maybe wealth, right, for your children. So you want to be in a position where when you walk away, it is clear. When you're operating, it is clear. And those are the tools that you need to say, well, this is clear. Who's going to run it? Also, the other thing about the partnership is, again, to their point, what does it look like? Who's going to have the majority ownership? Is this a 51% owned? Is this a 49% owned? Are we looking at getting certification? What are we, you know, exactly what are we doing? I do want to encourage business owners, I know we're getting ready to hang up or get off. Don't be afraid to plan. You can plan yourself out of things, but as we're talking to you guys, what we're saying to you is just strategically take some time to write down some things, some thoughts, and just plan. We don't want you to just sit around and say, oh, I can't do it. At the end of the day, I took like 2 years to plan and nothing ever happened. Plan, execution without anything is, you know, not going to do anything for you. So plan, but also begin to plan about when you will execute. So have some SMART goals that are in place. Put some dates and some times to some things so that they will start to come to fruition, right? What gets measured gets success. So look at some SMART goals and start to develop them around your business. And they don't have to be anything real specific. It ain't technical. It's just, I may start my marketing strategy on this day. And what does that look like? But for the most part, you know, when you're in your partnerships, understand who you're in partnership with. Go back to that value system. Do they ride with you? And make sure you have a joint venture and some partnership agreements.
That's good. Really good. Awesome. So we have a couple more questions, guys. We have 10 minutes left, and then we're gonna do our wrap up. Um, How can a small business owner position themselves to hire their first employee? And I know you guys, Shakirah, was it your organization that just recently had that workshop? So I think that is so good. I hope you guys bring it back. But what tips do you guys have for positioning yourself to hire your first employee? Anybody? Everybody's thinking about that one. Is that a difficult one?
So I'll jump in. So
Okay.
I guess, so thinking about, hiring your first employee, one, do you have the revenue to support, bringing on additional staff? I think is important. So many of our small businesses, I think the numbers were like 96% of Black owned businesses are a solopreneur. So there's a lot of us who, in a lot of cases never have really been in a position to hire staff. But I think it's important that, one, you look at your business, what is the long-term, strategic planning regarding, bringing on staffing. And I think from there, thinking about who do we add, and then what type of qualities are we looking for in the people that we bring onto the team, especially if you're in the startup space or you're just a small business in general. Whoever you bring on, especially early on, is going to probably have to wear many hats. So bringing in somebody who's versatile, it can handle a lot of different types of job responsibilities. But I think if you have the revenue, you have a sustainable, business model, and you're in a place where you absolutely need to hire as a critical mass point in your business, really think long and hard about how you want to bring someone in and what roles you feel like they can handle for where your business is at.
Awesome. And I see revenue on your shirt, and that's all I can see. So I love
it
it so
says
far. Okay, revenue over everything. Yes.
Yeah.
I was sitting here the whole time going, I really wonder what else is on his shirt.
Yeah, revenue over everything. That's the motto.
That's good. That's good. So as we wrap up, guys, let's jump into how can I take my business to the next level? So so if one of your clients asks you, how can I take my business to the next level? What is your advice for them? Anybody want to jump in first?
I would just say, be relentless. Be relentless. If you want it, you can have it. There's so much technology out there that simplified a lot of the processes that we're talking about, whether it's getting your LLC, whether it's legal documents, whether it's accounting, billing payments, accounts payable, whatever it is that you need for your business. For the most part, you could do a TikTok or Google search and find out how to do it, YouTube search, any of that. So don't let anything get in your way. Be relentless. You can certainly do it. If you're in a job that you're working 9 to 5 that you hate, but what you're doing now or what you're trying to do is your passion, go after it. Don't let anything hold you back. And you can definitely make the most of it. We're all here to help support that vision. And I just think it's critical that as a small business, you don't lose sight or lose hope when things get rough, because they will. Things will be a challenge. Doesn't matter, what's happening. You're going to have challenges. Be relentless, keep going, and you can make it happen.
Awesome. Go ahead, Sonya.
When I think about leveling up, you said something earlier or just a few minutes ago when you're talking about fear, and not fearing asking for help, really understanding your industry and tapping into those who've been there and done that. I think building your capacity and knowledge is power. That helps you to level up, but you gotta be willing enough to step out of your comfort zone and reach out to those places that could help you to get there. Know your industry well and those who can help you. So don't fear reaching out. I think that's really, really key. And, being a solopreneur, just it's me, myself, and I, and I'm going to do this and no one understands it. We kind of hold it so close to our chest. Open up a little bit more so you can connect, and you'll be surprised on the levels of changes you can make for your business as you're trying to level up.
Awesome. Awesome. Shakirah, you're next. But guys, if you have any final questions, please drop them now. And all of our consultants on the panel, can you drop your contact information that you want people to have, whether it's the social media for your organization or your website where your programs are listed or your classes? Just drop that so they can grab it as we're doing this. Shakirah, what would you tell your clients how to level up or get to the next level?
Yeah, I think leveling up is kind of it's subjective and kind of this kind of nebulous kind of word. And it could mean so many different things for different people. Starting out, and what I admire is specificity. So what does that mean to you to level up? Does that mean that you want more website views? Does that mean that you want more followers? Does that mean you want more sales? Does that mean, you want more partnerships? What does that mean to you? So that we can start to have really tangible ways to build those KPIs, those key performance indicators. And so I think one way to level up is to really decide what that means for you. What do you mean when you say that? Does that mean you want to get into Target stores or other retail stores? What does that mean for you? And then we can start to build on how to achieve the goal, the specific goal that you've set to do for yourself.
Awesome. Qshebra, you're next. Well, Natalie, go ahead, and then Q will.
Okay, yeah, real quick. So GlenNeta, I want to say to level up, and I love what she said, defining what success looks like for you and your business. What does that mean? But also within your business, you might want to look at market penetration and product development. Those are some areas that maybe you might want to offer a different product or service within your business to a new segment, or you might want to offer a new product or service or a new, development of something else to a whole new group of individuals. So leveling up or growing your business can come in different facets, but the one thing you have to do is sit down and do a SWOT analysis, right? Look at the internal components of your business. What is working? What isn't working? What are the strengths, opportunities, and the threats that are out there that will help you to navigate this whole change that you might want to do within the business to level up or to, penetrate another market and get more sales.
Awesome. Qshebra?
Yes, so I love what Shakirah, some of the questions that she asked, because that would be my first approach to the level up part, is identifying what do you actually mean as far as leveling up? Mm-hmm. What do you want to level up? And what part are you going to play? Because on this particular journey, the biggest thing is the work will work, but are we willing to work the work? Mm. And so one of the things that we do is we use, even when it comes to the business goals, of course, we use the SMART goals. Are you specific? Is it measurable, achievable, relevant, or time? Something so simple and basic where you hold that individual accountable, where they can come back and tell you what leveling up looks like, instead of myself telling them what it actually looks like. And then that way I can support them and what they actually see. And then we could actually take it to a whole nother level. And so I think for me, it would be, let's identify your leveling up. What does that look like? Where do you see yourself going? Let's identify those areas. And then of course, we'll set some SMART goals and we could actually reach them together.
Awesome. So this is so good, guys. This has been amazing. I've learned a lot from you guys. You guys rock. And I know I chose the right people because I just want to train with all of y'all. Okay? So I'm going to do a few quick announcements and then we're going to do our motivational closeout. So go ahead and grab that motivational quote that you're going to send our audience home with. So a couple announcements. Our next panel, first, thank you for being here today on this panel. We're going to do it again on Thursday, October 20th from 12 noon to 1 p.m. same time. Learning how to advertise, market, and learn how advertising, marketing, and public relations can grow your small business. That's what we're going to be talking about, and also the difference between them, because a lot of people don't know the difference between advertising, marketing, and public relations. So we're going to break that down, and we're going to do that on October 20th. So we'll put that out soon so that you can register for it. Also, September 26th through the 30th is the Gman 25-year anniversary. Everybody clap for that. Yes. Gman is 20. There we go. Sonya is representing the shirt right there, the Gman 25. So if you would like to register for all the events, it's a whole week full of amazing events, educational opportunities, a gala, gman.org/Gman25. You can register and get all of the details there. Please do so. Okay. So Avoilan, let's start with you and get our motivational closeout. What would you like to leave the audience with?
Yeah, you are enough. Right? I mean, as a business owner, as a person, you are enough. I know a lot of times people have imposter syndrome. I know I've had that where you feel like, man, am I even supposed to be in the same space as these folks? But you are enough. Believe in yourself. And we're here for you. But believe me, you are enough, I feel like is really the key here, and just making sure people understand that You don't have to feel like you have to have 10 years, 20 years, 30 years of experience. Just being in a room, having the want to is enough to be in there.
Awesome. Awesome. Sonya and then Shakirah. I'm just going around my screen here. Sonya, you
I'm
got
off mute.
you. Yep.
I just want to say that everyone wants to get to the top of the mountain to get that ultimate goal, but really it's the journey along the way and the climb that gives you the many victories that unfold. So just reward yourself for the milestones as you get to achieve those things. You've got this from Monday through Sunday, each year, each month, each day, and Gman is here to support you.
Absolutely. Shakirah and then Qshebra.
Do the thing. Do the thing. Sell the thing. Sell the product. Sell the service. Just start doing the thing that you want to do, and let it take you and let it drive you to where you're meant to be. So just start.
Love it. Qshebra and then Natalie.
Yes. So if you actually made it to spend time with us on today, that means you're either working on something or you're planning to work on something. So I just have one question for you. Which X will you entertain? Will it be excuses or will it be execution? So like I said earlier, if you work the work, it will work for you.
All right, Natalie.
I can't come behind that. Only thing I want to say is be.
Ooh.
Be you, be all of you, and embrace all of you. That's all I want to say.
Good stuff, guys. And then I'm just going to leave you with, it's not as powerful as all of those, but it's really simple. Follow your passion and have patience. If you follow your passion, you're going to love what you do. And you got to be patient with it because it's not going to happen overnight. So we're going to leave you there. Thank you so much for joining us today. If I could get our consultants to stay on, let's see. Hold on. Someone just dropped a question in there. Would you save the chat? Yes, we will release the chat and we're going to release the video. So there will be a live stream. It's going to be on YouTube. Go to Georgia Micro Enterprise Network on YouTube. You will be able to find this entire broadcast and we will release the chat. Okay. So thank you so much for being here. Consultants, stay on with me. And guys, that's it. Y'all have an amazing day. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. I hope you got a lot of notes and we wish you the absolute best. Bye, guys.